they silt our gutters and prevent people from dying when it rains. Jesus happy with that.
You know what I heard?
We don't really know what Jesus thinks on the daily.
No, we don't.
But we know that Jesus would have preferred people stay alive.
Yeah.
We know that for sure.
Yeah.
That Jesus would have preferred lives are saved all the time. That people are prudent in the management of the finances of the state. That there's no thievery, there's no stealing. Plain stealing not happening in our system.
To who the finance minister
No. We have moved on. We have moved into what Jesus would like or would not like.
Jesus happy with conflict of interest. Every time the country borrows, one company becomes richer. One or two companies become richer.
The 6 a.m. news.
The people who set up those companies are the ones who are making decisions for us to go and borrow. Is Jesus happy with that?
The 6 a.m. news highlighted again this issue of senior high schools in the northern region not having funds. And again, we're calling on the finance minister. I was like, everything has to be the finance minister.
The last time I had an interview with the education minister, he was saying that money releases for feeding. For there to be anything of this sort, it will never happen again. At some point, we say it like it's a joke, but
we'll go and pull that audio.
Yeah.
But let's bring our Drive Safe campaign to our listeners. It's brought to us by Joy News and Multimedia Group, supported by Toyota Ghana Company Limited, Toyota Superior Quality and Imperial General Assurance Solid Protection. Now, maintain lane discipline and avoid taking medications that make you drowsy once you plan to get behind the wheel. That's how to drive safe.
Something more.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm thinking about Jesus. All right, so let's learn how to say it right. It's brought to us by Kingdom Books. At Kingdom, quality and affordability are their hallmarks.
Must be done. You say either. I say either.
Today, I would like us to talk about a word that is rarely used but almost always misused. Fulsome. F-U-L-S-O-M-E. Fulsome. What do you think it means? I'm sure you're tempted to say it means abundant, bountiful, lush, plentiful, copious. Well, if you were to give any of those answers, you would be wrong. Fulsome actually means excessively flattering. It's a word used to describe someone who gushes insincerely or pays exaggerated compliments. So you could say, Fair boy's fulsome letters did not convince fair girl of his love. And that would be saying it right.
All right then. Listen, that's how you say it, right? Fulsome, love it. Okay, now before we get into the news review, which is brought to us as always by Milo Energy to go further, Enterprise Life's Family Income Security Plan, Enterprise Your Advantage, and First Atlantic Bank, refreshingly different. I want us to hear a few very interesting clips, okay, on this Labianca matter, which we are paying close attention to today. So the Ahanta Traditional Council has criticized the report by the OSP, okay, which indicted, among others, the woman known as Labianca, Madam Eunice Boa Asuma Hine. There was some 1 million Ghana cedis of tax which she purportedly evaded. But the Traditional Council indicates that the report was born out of malice and called on the special prosecutor to apologize. Listen to the chief of Abwade in the Ahanta traditional area, Nana Itin Kofi, who was speaking on behalf of the Ahanta Hene, Utumfo Bedu Bunsu. They held a news conference to share this information yesterday.
What is again worrisome and devastating is that despite the open denial by the Commissioner of Customs, Colonel Dabwa, against any influence perpetrated by Honorable on him for the import waiver, several media accounts continue to peddle one side story. We are therefore using this medium to appeal to the President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency Nana Adama Akufo-Addo, to help turn the tide in this issue, which has the potential to destroy a genuine Ghanaian business and a very productive and astute one. We view this report as unhealthy for the promotion of investment by Ghanaians and also on women entrepreneurship in Ghana. This unfortunate attack on a member of the Council of State is a threat to business investment from the private sector and on employment. There are other companies who are benefiting from around 12% tax rebate. So why this attack on the Bianca company? We call on the special prosecutor as a matter of urgency to retract the statement on influence theory and on our member of the Council of State as it is really inappropriate.
A gala system, man. Okay then. So that's what the chiefs had to say. I happened to spot a story. I think it's a Daily Graphic story. I thought it was interesting. Let me see the date. It's quite an old one, I believe.
Is it the one related to the building and handing over of buildings?
Yes, it's a citynewsroom.com story from 2020. It says Akufo-Addo inspects Nzima Traditional Council edifice built on his behalf by Council of State member. Can anyone guess who the Council of State member was?
If it's not Abianca, I guess I cannot be any more incompetent in my mind.
The edifice too is nice. Quite an edifice.
Anyway.
Quite an edifice.
So she's the one?
Yes. Mrs. Eunice Jacqueline Boa Asumahene, in collaboration with other philanthropists.
Yeah, very philanthropic.
Yes, built it to support the Nzima Traditional Council in Ampeng community in the Elembele district.
Is the reason why the people in that area would muster behind their chiefs, who would organize a massive press conference.
Their member.
No, their chiefs. The people who muster behind their chiefs. They will organize a very strong press conference.
See the people who master behind the chiefs?
But the chiefs represent, they are custodians. They are the thinking of the people. They are the spiritual leaders of the people, and the people are behind them. Their single pursuit is to exonerate a woman who's been so unfairly treated by the OSP.
Can I emphasize
that entire report ought to be retracted and an apology rendered?
Exactly.
At some point, and increasingly, and one may even guess that it's more appropriate that Nkrumah's posture on chieftaincy becomes, listen, chiefs held a very wonderful place in our society. It's very difficult to talk about chiefs without crossing the line. But when chiefs fail to represent the people and represent some other interest beyond the people, it becomes like they are secondary politicians. And if you have read this report, the chiefs appear to suggest that, well, you have been so unfair to her because others have more than what the woman even got. Why is there a petition on the other people? If the chiefs have a very strong case, they should equally petition the OSP. The other people that they are referencing, which they have known perhaps for a very long time, and yet I decided to keep it to themselves and not tell this, so that we can retrieve money from them and save this country the resources required. So that we do not need any other person to be building the House of Chiefs building for them. We, the state, the Republic, can build it for them if you have the resources.
You know, I also find
Anyway.
it quite interesting that the chiefs seem to know a lot, because they
Yeah,
say
they seem to have had information about who is doing what at the post for so long.
They say the company in question legitimately applied for a 5% extra discount and got that approval. They know a lot.
Actually, that's
that's
not what
completely false.
That's not
So-
what the report found.
But this is directly from the chief who addressed the press conference.
So,
This is a quote from him.
so I'm guessing they know the opposite of a lot. And you know, it's difficult because Raymond made a point, a very important point, that look, it's very difficult to talk about chiefs without crossing the line. I mean, that is what we understood to be the case. But increasingly, with all the things that are happening with Galamsey going on, with the sale of lands, the wrong sale of lands, and some of these very interesting things that we are seeing chiefs doing, it's almost as if the line, the land upon which the line has been drawn, that we are at risk of crossing, the land itself has been sold. so the line is not even there. For us to know whether we are crossing it or not. Because how are we supposed to not point out what is
Could you take your time? Assuming
disturbing about some of these
today,
decisions.
If I do something, OSP is investigating me to put out a report. A people from my hometown now says that no, he's one of our own. You cannot be unfair to him.
You said that the chief should be with the people.
Yeah, but
so they will stand with you.
Is that what the people in that part of the area want? That our resources, our revenue is actually taken into people's hands, and it is being retrieved for you.
So I think perhaps we need to begin to break the issues down, because sometimes people may not understand.
So let us start to break things down carefully. The first thing, the most important thing to point out, is that following whatever process the special prosecutor went through, LaBianca paid 1 million Ghana cedis back to government. Why? She went there with her lawyers. She went there with her lawyers, not her chiefs, her lawyers. And following these meetings, she paid back 1 million Ghana cedis to government. So what exactly is the apology supposed to be for? Is she asking for an apology?
Yeah.
She herself, is she asking for an apology? Anyway,
the chiefs.
I like to read. Yeah. Everything is interesting to me. So I've been reading, and so have you, Ray. So have you, Mama V. We've been reading some documents that have been coming out following this investigation. Now, as you recall, in the OSP's report, he says that the individual, Ajay, who granted this advanced, what's it called? Advanced ruling?
Advanced ruling.
Yes, which in effect reduced the benchmark value that LaBianca was paying. The person who granted it, he said that he was relying on a certain memo that said that they should reduce these values for people. Well, we have the memo. I just want to share it quickly before we go into the headlines. It's very short.
Yeah, very quickly.
So the memo is to the Commissioner General of the GRA, from the Acting Commissioner of Customs on 6 February 2018. So at the time, the Acting Commissioner was Isaac Krenzel, Acting Commissioner of Customs. So he was writing to the Commissioner General of the GRA, who was Kofi Inti at the time, right? Okay. The heading was Request for Approval to Apply Graduated Valuation vis-a-vis benchmark values for frozen goods. I write to seek your approval for an application of graduated valuation vis-a-vis the benchmark values for frozen goods in terms of the quantum of consignment per shipment of an importer or declarant. If this proposal is approved, the applicable value per kilogram of frozen foods shall be as follows with effect from the date of your approval. Okay, so up to 20 containers will get 5% reduction in benchmark value per kilogram. Above 20 containers and up to 40 will receive 8% reduction in benchmark value per kilogram. Above 40 containers, above 40 will receive 12% reduction in benchmark value per kilogram. The above consideration shall be applicable on any revised or reviewed benchmark values until you decide otherwise. And it was approved. There's a note here signed by Kofinti, the Commissioner General, which says please process. So it was approved for process. So in effect, we are hearing that this is what the gentleman stood upon to grant the discount or the reduced benchmark value. Okay, when we come back, we will analyze it and try and figure out, first of all, can such a decision, is it grounded in law?
Yeah.
And secondly, if Mr. Ajay relied on this, then can he be held culpable?
And what did the OSP say about the exact decision that I was taking?
Exactly.
Anyway,
we'll get into all of that. Okay, headlines real quick.
Yes, the Daily Graphics reporting this morning, ECG facilities in Kroboland damaged, transformers, cables, poles tampered with, and we understand that yesterday they started fixing all of these things anyway. U.S. court overturns 165 million judgment debt against the University of Ghana, and MPP takes steps to enforce guidelines on parliamentary and presidential polls, and there is iron ore resource estimation. It is beginning in OT region. That's also the front page of the Daily Graphic, yeah.
And the Daily Guide this morning, Minister hot over $2.5 million US World Bank cash. And that minister is the Minister of Education, Dr. Yao Edu-Chum. It says that the World Bank has repeatedly written to the Ministry of Education to provide information on this amount, but so far, nothing. NPP summons presidential hopefuls. Haruna Atta's wife dead, and that's the younger sister of the former First Lady Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings. Her name Nanaya Agyeman, wife of veteran journalist Haruna Atta.
Now, the Business Finder is reporting this morning BOG moves to tame city inflation by hiking policy rate and primary reserve requirement. That's on the front page. With vegetable food sector to transform, and that's also been reported by the Business Finder today.
Last paper, Ghanaian Times, 5 killed, others in critical condition as unknown assailants attack minibus in Boko. The banking sector cleanup, 1.09 billion Ghana cedis. Bad transactions by MFIs, SDIs uncovered according to the Bank of Ghana.
That story is also on the front page of the Daily Statesman, but there is a massive development in Ahafo, which must attract investors. Chief of Staff files 20 million defamation suit against Herald. That's here. And MPP to meet presidential hopefuls over code of conduct. And affluent Europe under threat as global food prices continue to escalate. And that's what the Statesman's reporting.
Shall we go online?
Yeah.
All right, online review brought to us by Zenith Bank, in your best interest, and Goyle Good Energy, not forgetting Eden Heights. Luxury has a new destination, and Bigu Drink. So,
Yeah?
Yeah, go.
All right, so Goyle, your oil marketing company of choice, keeps making life ever so convenient. Goyle now accepts Momo for all fuel purchases at key selected stations. Just remember to Momo it at Goyle. That's not all. You can also use your bank card to buy fuel at Goyle, and this is made possible by APSA. Drive to Goyle stations now, buy your fuel, pay by Momo or a bank card, and you're good to go. Visit Goyle social media platforms. On Facebook is Goyle.official, Instagram is Goyle_GH, and Twitter, Goyle_official. You can get more information. Goyle Good Energy, Goyle Yayedim.
All right then, myjoyonline.com has this headline which I can't quite see. Oh, there we go. Bank of Ghana increases policy rate to 22%. Cost of borrowing to shoot up significantly. Yeah. All right, let's see what else is there. CityNewsroom.com has removal of Commonwealth Hall Master senior tutor following clash harsh, according to Clementa Pack. And on BBC, preparing for the worst at Ukraine nuclear plant. Oh dear. It just gets worse and worse. All right then, that does it. Time now for the BBC News, brought to us by Fidelity Bank. Believe with us. Telefonica Ghana celebrating 20 years of legacy, and Millennium Insurance, your trustworthy partner.
At Enterprise Life, it's possible to live your best life. Ladies, enjoy cover for your lifestyle with Bloom, life insurance for today's woman. Families, let's safeguard your well-being with a family income security plan, because family matters. And for you, live freely with our funeral finance plan unlimited, with no restrictions, no limits, as you cover your loved ones and yourself. WhatsApp us on 0554 001 924 or call 0307 084 444 for your solution.
You for dream big. Dream big with us.
Enterprise, your advantage. Jack, you know my boss owns a fleet of commercial cars and he drives only brand new vehicles. Latest. Before he hired me, this is what he said. Krachi, my vehicles are my investment. It is a winning, now winning, and you buy any fuel apart from Goyle. Waboka, sign this undertaking.
But he was right?
Yes, and he's right. Goyle stocks only higher grade fuels